Okay, it's now 3 o'clock. I call the RTA Board of Trustees meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please? Mary?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hoagie?
Here.
And Ms. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Corrado? Mr. Depp?
Here.
Ms. Hairston? Here. Ms. Howard?
Present.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Here.
And Mr. Williamson?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As has been our custom, the minutes of our previous meeting of June 2nd, 2015 will mail to all of the board members prior to today's meeting. Unless there's a request to reading of those minutes, are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing no request to read the minutes or no corrections or addition to the minutes, let the record show the minutes stand as submitted. We had just finished our audit. We get audited every year by the Auditor of State, and we're very pleased that we have Joe Braden here today from the Auditor's Office. He would like to make a presentation. Joe, please.
It's my honor to be here today and present the Greater Dayton RTA and Mary Stanforth with the Auditor State Award for 2014 fiscal year. It is important to note that this award puts the Greater Dayton RTA in a very select group. The Auditor State's office audits over 5,600 entities per year, and fewer than 10% of all entities audited annually earn and are eligible for this award. To receive the award, GAAP entities without a CAFR must file their financial reports with the Auditor State within 150 days, have a clean audit with no findings for recovery, material citation, material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, single audit findings or question costs. The client's management letter shall contain no comments related to ethics referrals, question costs less than $10,000, lack of timely report submission, reconciliation issues, failure to obtain a timely single audit, findings for recovery for less than $100, or any public meeting or public records issues. The entity shall also have no other financial concerns. This award represents the hard work of every Greater Dayton RTA employee who strives each day to achieve accounting excellence. Also, I want to recognize all the board members that have done an excellent job accounting for the dollar in their offices and all their departments. And Mary, would you like to come up here for a second? I especially want to recognize Mary Stanforth. She's the CFO and for her outstanding leadership, professionalism, and commitment to fiscal integrity. Well done, Mary. On behalf of Auditor Yost and the state office, I would like to present Mary Stanforth the Auditor State Award.
Great. Get one more. Can we let the cameraman get one more?
Absolutely.
There you go. And I'd like to just add in, those are great comments. We're obviously very proud of our finance team. Robert's out here, big part of the team in the audience today. And this is also the 5th time we've received this award in recent years, and it's a real credit to the work these guys do every day. So we're lucky to have them on board.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks so much for coming. Appreciate it.
Allow me also to add my congratulations to you, Mary, and your entire department. And I also want to thank the entire management team. This is a trend that we are seeing as board members. As you know, several years ago, we were honored by the federal auditors when they reviewed our contracts and found us to be the benchmark that other organizations should follow. We recently won a reward with regard to health, the Well-Being Award for the RTA. And now we received this award for finance, and that's a consistent trend. And that only happens where there's management, sets the tone from the top. It filters down to all of the management people in their team. And I commend you all for doing what you're doing. And we as board members are very proud to be affiliated with such a fine organization. So congratulations to you, Mary, and congratulations to all of the management of the RTA. And Joe, thank you so much for coming here, taking the time and make this presentation. Please also thank Auditor Yost for his recognition. Thank you. Okay, then we move on to the committee reports, the Finance and Personnel Committee. Sharon.
The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on June 16th, and as a result, the Finance Personnel Committee is recommending 2 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 2, monitoring of trolley bus overhead lines. The Greater Dayton RTA operates one of the few remaining electric trolley bus systems in the country. Assessing and replacing damaged trolley bus overhead lines is critical to the trolley infrastructure rebuild project. Maintenance desires to award a sole source contract to Dutzer Technische Kohli Incorporated, in the future referred to as DTK, a German firm that provides the unique service of measuring wear, shock, and positioning of trolley service wires. Mr. Chris Cole provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Staff is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Based upon the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee, I move to award a contract to DTK in the not-to-exceed amount of $70,000 for monitoring of the trolley bus overhead line. Actual costs will vary depending on the currency, exchange rate, and actual travel and freight costs. This procurement will be funded with 80% federal funds.
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Okay, action item number 2 is unanimously approved.
Action item number 3, unleaded fuel. This routine procurement is for the purchase of regular unleaded gasoline or unleaded gasoline 10% ethanol. The Greater Dayton RTA uses regular unleaded gasoline to fuel non-revenue vehicles. Vendors were required to base their bids on the Daily Oil Price Information Services, OPIS, price index for April 27, 2015, plus or minus a fixed differential. The differential determines the lowest bidder. Mr. Chris Cole provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in your board package. Staff is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Based upon the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee, I move to award a contract to Mansfield Oil Company of Gainesville, Incorporated, for unleaded gasoline 10% ethanol. The differential for the base year is .0686 cents for an estimated $2.2541 per gallon. The differential for option year 1 is .0706 cents for an estimated $2.2561 per gallon, and the differential for option year 2 is .0726 cents for an estimated $2.2582 per gallon. The total base year contract is estimated at $45,082. Option year 1 is estimated at $45,122, and option year 2 is estimated at $45,164. For the option year's total, of $90,286 and a grand total of $135,368 based on the projected annual usage of 20,000 gallons per year. The award will vary based upon usage and fluctuations in the OPUS price index.
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Action item number 3 is unanimously approved.
That concludes the action items for the Finance Personnel Committee. However, there was an insurance update. Mr. Mark Reynolds of Brower Insurance provided a presentation on RTA's insurance coverage. Topics discussed included our solid subrogation proceeds record and the one large accident in 2012 that skewed RTA's bottom line, and a positive report on RTA's current claims status. Mr. Reynolds also mentioned that our property deductible is fairly high. General liability slips and falls are still on track this year, and terrorism event coverage is currently being vetted. Capital projects update. Mr. Rosinski provided a 10-year summary table for review. A 5-year table has already been presented at a previous meeting, and this 10-year window provides a long-term view and implications of potential matching dollars that will be required. Mr. Rosinski, RTA's projected 10-year expenses for capital items will be in the $224 million range. Mr. Rosinski mentioned that RTA will be experiencing a $30 million shortfall in 2019 and discussed possible ways to address this projected shortfall, such as reduce our federal operating dollars and commit to capital expenses, earmark local funds, seek out other federal and state funding, work with other regional transit partners to work more cost-effectively, support efforts to pass a meaningful and long-term federal funding bill. Mr. Donahue discussed some of the inherent problems with using federal operating dollars for capital expenses. Mr. Corrado suggested that the capital report document, such as the one presented by Mr. Rosinski, should be done annually, and all agreed. Health insurance coverage update. Mr. Steve Hoff of McGowan Braybender provided a status report on RTA's current health insurance coverage. Mr. Hoff's topic included a self-funding discussion, a year-end 2014 review, and our 2015 renewal and experience. Mr. Donahue also discussed the move to self-funding of our health care costs and the union's arbitration filing claiming overcharging employees for health care premiums. Mr. Corrado inquired if there were any health insurance claims out of the ordinary, and Mr. Hoff stated there was not. Mr. Corrado also asked for clarification that RTA is paying for health care coverage and not the union, and Mr. Donahue confirmed that was correct. Financial statements. At the meeting, Ms. Stanford reported that for May 2015, RTA's net gain after local depreciation is $674,000 compared to a budgeted gain of $112,000. The positive variance of $562,000 is a result of higher sales tax revenue as well as lower operating expenses for wages and benefits and contracted services. May 2015 year-to-date net gain after local depreciation is $1 million compared to a year-to-date budgeted loss of $463,000. The positive variance of $1.46 million is a result of higher sales tax, federal assistance, and investment revenues, plus lower operating expenses for wages and benefits, contract services, and fuel and lubricants. These positive variances were partially offset by lower operating revenues and higher materials and supplies expenses. Sales tax update. Also at the meeting, Ms. Stanforth reported that March 2015 sales tax receipts are $214,000 higher than March 2014. This equates to a 6.9% increase. Year-to-date, March receipts are up $645,000 or 7.5%. These increases continue to have a very positive impact on RTA's bottom line. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Sharon. I'd just like to emphasize again why the award that RTA received today, and Mary received from the Auditors of State's office. Those numbers show that in the next 10 years, we will be needing $224 million for capital improvements, as well as monies that we need on an annual basis to run the operations from a day-to-day basis. So it's so very, very important that control over the cash and the finances be there. And therefore, we should be doubly proud of the award we received and knowing that the money entrusted to us by the taxpayers and by the government, as well as the riders, are really in good hands and being taken care of very carefully. So again, Mary, congratulations. And the magnitude of these numbers show the importance of what is done in the finance department. Okay. Then moving on, we now go to the Planning Committee. Janet?
Thank you. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on June 16th, and as a result, the Planning Committee is recommending one action item for the board's consideration. Action item number 4, greater... Action item number 4, Greater Dayton RTA bylaws update. The purpose of this action item is to update and finalize the Greater Dayton RTA's bylaws document. The last bylaws document update was in March 2009. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees discussed suggested bylaw edits and updates at both the May 19th, 2015 and June 16th, 2015 Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committee meetings. Based on that, I move to approve the updated bylaws document as reflected in your board packet.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Janet, second by Sharon. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstention? Okay, action item number 4 is unanimously approved.
Other discussion items included, Mr. Eckler also provided a summary document from the planning and marketing team, which covered topics such as RTA's participation in the Dayton Air Show and Special Wish events, Bike to Work Day, the Regional Transition Fair, and the Miamisburg River Fest. Advertising and promotion information was also provided for the annual Dump the Pump event, read on RTA promotions, and recent social media content. This concludes my report, and if there are any questions, Mr. Eckler and I would be happy to address them.
Thank you, Janet. Okay, now we then move on to item number 6, the Executive Director's Report.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few informational items. First, you may see that Mr. Napier looks a little lonely on that side of the room. It's not a personal matter that he needs to attend to. Just to give you an update, Bill is leading a group from RTA on a mission for us. They're at the Gillig plant right now doing what we call pre-production on our diesel buses that were ordered some time ago. That won't be delivered until next spring, but this is the time you make sure that all the right components get ordered. So he's doing that. He's also going to be going from there to Seattle. We're very interested in Seattle's trolley project and see how that's going, so we can hopefully at some point use some of their data to add to our own comparison on our project here. So they'll be back in a few days. You've noticed Bob Brzezinski is MIA. He's representing us at an FTA training session in Chicago. We never miss those. That's how we maintain our strong relationship with the FTA. And Allison was a last-minute cancel this afternoon. She's struggling with issues with her mobility device, and it's very hard to get appointments, we've learned. for getting those things fixed, so I gave her the okay to be there. But, so it's not for lack of interest, everybody is busy. Speaking of awards, you may have noticed if you get the Dayton Business Journal that we were selected as one of Dayton's healthiest employers. It was a great honor to be there at the ceremony, especially with our in-house coach, Julie, who accepted the award on our behalf. And I sometimes digress, but I'm going to because I got a great story that day out of Julie, and I was talking to her. If you haven't met Julie, you should. She is just dynamite. She's a ball of fire, and she can be really tough, even on us old folks. But she was telling me that she had been to her personal physician for a routine examination, and she decides to inform her personal physician that he looks like he could shed a few pounds. And I thought that was so Julie. Well, not only that, she spent 6 to 8 months, was it, Gene, personally coaching her physician, and the guy drops 80 pounds. So, seriously, so, that's Julie. And she talked about it like it was just nothing, part of the day. And I'm thinking, wow, this, again, reinforces the decision that was made. And I always credit Gene. Gene's the one that found Julie. We've got a great asset in Julie. And that just cracked me up that, not too many of us would probably be that forward with our personal physicians, but she did, and then she volunteered to help coach him through that. So it's no wonder we won the award. We look forward to doing it next year. Julie came away the next day with a laundry list of things we need to do to make things better around here. So we're going to support that. Some of you know we do an annual presentation to the city of Dayton. That's going to happen tomorrow morning at the work session after the council meeting. I understand they want us to be very brief, so I probably shouldn't speak. But we're going to be there and do that. And then later this month on the 28th, Franz and I will be going to Kettering to do a similar presentation there. These are, I think, great opportunities. I told you a few months ago I was at Huber Heights. We go wherever we're asked to do these sorts of presentations, and I really like it because you get some local feedback on issues sometimes that maybe don't come up in the normal course, even though Frank's team meets with every single jurisdiction every single year, one-on-one. We always do that to make sure that if there are issues going on, we're on top of those, so that's important that we do that. I'm glad Brandon and Sally are in the room. They didn't come here for this reason, but I'm very pleased to announce that the Montgomery County Veterans Commission, did I say that right? The folks at the county that take care of veterans have awarded us $20,000 to subsidize veterans' transportation to the hospital at Wright-Patt Air Force Base. And the reason I say Sally and Brandon, because those two worked this out. They nailed down the deal, negotiated a deal with the executive director over there, and we executed that last week, I want to say. So that's great. So that means more ability for more veterans to get transportation to where they need it. And I'm glad they're here to hear me say that publicly because I appreciate that work. Outstanding stuff. One last item I have. Speaking of outstanding people, she's not even going to smile for me, is she?
Yes, now.
About 35 years ago, a 4-year-old named Deborah Howard
Smart man.
came to work for the then Miami Valley Regional Transit Authority, I would imagine it was at that time, and is here today. And Mary and I would like to make sure that at this public meeting she receives her certificate, and she gets a gift certificate as well for all this time she's put in. I think you've heard me say before, Deborah's recognized in our industry as a leader in the field of procurement. We have routinely received requests to please let Deborah go to an event because they want someone with her skills there. This is the FTA speaking, to help them in a seminar. And, to have that kind of credibility at the national level, that helps. It's like I talked about Bob earlier. We've got Deborah here. I always like to refer to Deborah as the person that keeps me out of jail. And she does. She can be a real stickler and sometimes a stinker about the regulations, but always with the best of intent, and we are super lucky to have Deborah here. Best procurement person, bar none, I've worked with in nearly 5 decades in the business. And thank you so much for sticking around for 35 years. And Mary, if you would join me down front, we can present this. So 35 more?
Congratulations, Sharon, and as I mentioned before, Deborah, I'm sorry, and as I mentioned before, and Mark reinforced it, we are known nationally for our procurement, and thank you for all you have done for all these years, and we're so pleased that you're with us. Thank you, congratulations to you. Okay. We now get to the old business, any old business to come before the board. Hearing none, there is one new business item, and that deals with the Riverskate Intergovernmental Agreement Amendment. And I believe, Mark, you're going to take us through the new business item, introduce it to us.
I'm going to do my best, yes. We are part of the partners group for Riverscape. And I'm saying I'm going to do my best because when this all started, I was not in Dayton, Ohio. But we are obviously a part of the project that includes the city of Dayton, Montgomery County, Five Rivers Metro Parks, and the Miami Conservancy District. There have been several phases to the Riverscape project. We were involved in phase 1, I recall, and that's it. We technically have not had an active role or a contributing role in terms of funding since that time, but we are signatories to the original partners agreement. Right now, they're going through the update of the agreement or amendment to the agreement. Basically, that kicks off phase 3 and 4, which is really the River Run project that is scheduled to begin construction literally within weeks in the river itself. And it was found recently that Miami Conservancy District could not issue the work permit prior to the updated document being executed by all the parties. So the goal was to get that done this week. So last week I sent the information out to you after Dwight had reviewed it, and he concurred that since we don't have any funds committed at this end of the game, it may just be ceremonial, but saw no problem with us executing the document. I agree with Dwight's interpretation that we should still bring it back to this board so that action could be taken, understanding that we remain partners in the agreement, even though we're maybe silent to some degree. We show up at the meetings, and when they don't ask for money, I'm very happy about that. But it's a great project. Obviously, we're involved in River Run specifically, but that's specific to that project and only on the fringes of that, and obviously going to be a great asset, again, to downtown Dayton. So with that, I'll entertain questions that I can answer.
Are there any questions? If there aren't any, I'll entertain a motion that we authorize the executive director to execute the amendment on behalf of the greater RTA.
So motioned.
Second.
Has been motioned and seconded. Are there any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Okay, new business item number 1 is unanimously approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. We now get to the public comment section, and I think it's appropriate that maybe we go over a few ground rules. As has been agreed upon in the past, that if you want to make a public comment, you have to make it on your behalf and not speak for someone else unless you are the legal guardian for that individual. And also, there are 3 minutes that each speaker is allowed, and the clock will start after you state your name and the address. After 2.5 minutes, the yellow light will go on over here at the right-hand side, my right-hand side, and after 3 minutes, we will stop you. If it takes longer, we recommend that you stay after the meeting, and we meet with various management people to discuss the issue that you want to bring before the board. With that, the first one will be Ms. O'Brien. We'll get your microphone.
Ms. O'Brien, there you go.
Gentlemen, please take off your jackets. One gentleman over there was around his collar.
State your name and address, please.
I have a couple questions to ask.
Ms. O'Brien, state your name and address, please.
I'm sorry.
Your name and address, please.
Florence O'Brien, Brookview Place. Some of us have some questions from our building. One of them was when a person with a walker goes to sign up to get Project Mobility, and she's turned down. She's told she has to go to the doctor to get a slip to approve her for Project Mobility. Now, when I went to apply for Project Mobility, I was on a cane. I've now gone from a cane to a walker to the animal here, laughingly called a wheelchair. What is the problem? Also, when you call up Project Mobility, please get another person on the phone, because one person cannot handle the scheduling. Sorry about that, she gets confused. Then another woman asked me, when she takes Project Mobility to the cemetery, she doesn't mind paying for both ways, but she puts flowers on her husband's grave and is there approximately 5 minutes. But she has to wait for another bus to, another Project Mobility to pick her up and take her home. When we've had Project Mobility sitting outside for 15 minutes waiting for somebody. 5 minutes certainly doesn't seem like a very long time.
Mrs. O'Brien, excuse me. I know the points you're making. You're really speaking on behalf of other individuals.
I'm speaking on behalf of other individuals in our building that have these comments.
Wouldn't those comments be better made directly to management before or after the meeting instead of here? Because we do have a rule to control a meeting, is that you're supposed to speak on your behalf. And if somebody else wants to speak.
On my behalf?
On your behalf, you could speak if you have.
Well, the only problem I have is when I called up to cancel a trip, they still came to get me. I had called up and told them I wasn't going at that time because my appointment had been changed to a different day. Then they send another bus to another Project Mobility to pick me up at the new time.
Mary, please relay your comments to the people, the management team that's here.
You know, we have also asked in the past that if you get back with the center as soon as possible and with management as soon as possible when those events happen, we can deal with them better. When you can give us specific days that it happens. So if you call, like right up, you said someone, you know, they came to pick you up anyway, give us a call back and let somebody know that that happened within the, you know, like within a few minutes of it happening, and we can deal with it better, rather than waiting to do it here when we don't have specific dates.
Well, can I have a list of who I call for certain things, including Mr. Donahue?
Yeah, because that's been provided before, and his number has been provided before too, so we'll see to it you get it. Because you've done that before, right?
Absolutely. I talked to Ms. O'Brien downstairs this afternoon.
If you give me your telephone number, I can call you.
Sure, I'll give you my card.
The next person speaking is Ms. Smothers.
She should call the operator.
My name is Sandra Smothers. I live at 215 McDaniel Street, Dayton, Ohio, zip code 45405. I have a question for the board and also Mr. Donahue. My question is, why are y'all charging?
Wait just one moment, I'm having trouble getting this.
Okay.
device to work. Please wait 1 moment. Sorry. There we go.
Okay. My question is, why are you charging $29 to go to the airport when you have a bus service going to the airport? I called to see how much it would cost to go to the airport when it used to be $3.50. Now it's $29. That's $58 both ways. And I'm on a fixed income, and most of all the other seniors are too. I don't see why we got to pay $29 to go to the airport and come back home. I got to pay another $29 to ride. That's like running a cab service to me. When I told my aunt about this in Nashville, she said, "What? $29 and that's supposed to be a shared ride service?" I just can't believe it. It's ridiculous. Can you answer that, Mr. Donahue?
I'm waiting for you to finish.
I do. I'm waiting on you to answer.
The answer is it isn't $29 unless it's outside the ADA hours. If you are an eligible Project Mobility customer, or if your friend in Nashville is certified eligible for ADA services at the Nashville MTA and rides to or from the airport during the hours that are ADA eligible, it's a $3.50 fare.
Are you
So
sure?
you've been
No, I
misinformed.
was going to the
I'm sorry.
airport. I was going to the airport myself.
Again, if you're doing it within the normal operating hours, that would be a normal PMOB trip.
Okay, just want to make sure.
You're welcome.
Caller Pitzinger, please.
Hello. My name's Carla Pitzinger, 3329 Shady View Road, Moraine, Ohio. Here, just wanted to mention, I would like to invite anyone here and the board here to the Community Action Partnerships monthly meeting, which is at, we formed a transportation meeting at 9 a.m. before our regular meeting. So it's 9 a.m. to noon at 719 South Main Street. I'd welcome anyone to give a presentation. Mr. Bard came about a year and a half ago here, but since then, I really want to encourage, to be fair to, everyone here, to attend, where other community leaders, church leaders attend and work on reducing poverty here, which we're trying to work on people, transportation, getting people to their jobs here, focusing on helping people to not just have jobs, but keep jobs. And on that note, Debbie Ferguson, if anyone ever needs any help with tokens, getting somewhere here, she can give out some tokens here as well. I think she buys some from RTA here. And then what's not, I did talk to Mr. Guston here from security, who okayed me having my cart on the bus when one driver was getting on me about it quite a bit. He mentioned how also that if anyone's homeless, he will give out tokens so they can get to the men's shelter, or probably the women's shelter as well. So I thought that was really, really important here. Because once in a while, especially I think folks that get out of jail and all that, they're romping around here, asking for, they're homeless, or they're asking for some little bit of help here if they can't get some help or transportation right away. So, on that note, I do customer service. I have called, so I do want to mention, I haven't gotten a response back about, the bus driver that keeps staring, and he still doesn't kneel the bus. I just feel like all the other drivers kneel the buses, and I just want to keep mentioning that I do appreciate when they do that, except for that one bus driver. And I would like to have a talk with him about why he doesn't, to not just me, but other folks that have walkers and carts. I just think it should be a policy. It would be nice. So thank you.
Thank you, caller. And then we have Mr. Kenneth Souls.
Hello, So, my name's Kenneth Souls. I live at 50 Victor, Dayton, Ohio. Just come to really express what you would call a complaint, and a complaint directly with RTA. And it's not like I'm just saying this for me, because I'm saying this, my situation, I'm going to explain, but the bigger picture is other people that's not in a situation to express themselves, and like me, I want to bring this to RTA's attention. And then, because there was, first of all, I am, how you say, double, I have a double disability. I've been into 2 explosions and was one of the people that got shot at the bus stop on West 3rd in Drexel, on Karma and Iona. That on Iona and Karma, right there, I'm the shooting victim that got shot twice, and I'm still here. I got shot once in the arm and once directly in the chest through the lung with a 40 cal with hollow points in it, and I'm still here. But and the reason I'm saying that is because of my situation. You know, it's been rough trying to struggle to get my strength back, but I'm a strong-willed person, and I seen people with less will give up, and that's what makes me stronger and try to make them even stronger because of my determination. But I have a complaint that if you look, and the RTA should be aware of, because I came in and written a public request letter, because they told me that that's what I had to do. And then I finally, when I came in to turn it in to Mr. Gustin, that he told me that there was already a public request form already that y'all had in play, and he had to get it for me. So they printed it out for me, but I actually handed him my written request like I was told to, and it has certain things on here that when I handed it to him, it has a date and everything in a legal format, because, you know, I try to be as most professional as I can, and I didn't know about the request form. So my request form has certain things on it that is, how you could say, more extensive. But he told me and that he was transferring what I asked on my public request form and onto one of y'all request forms that he had printed out. Okay, well,
Mr. Napier will get with Mr. Souls and see what the nature of the records request is. That way, we'll see what the status is.
Mr. Souls, Mr. Napier is the gentleman in the last row. Please meet with him. Please meet with Mr. Napier and discuss it in detail, your concerns. Okay. Okay, that takes care of the public comments. We now get to board member comments. Are there any from board members that'd like to make? I'd like to make 2 comments, one of which Adrian rightfully reminded me I should have done when we approved the bylaw changes. Even though we approved the bylaw changes, but they have to now be sent to the 3 jurisdictions who appoint us to the board. That would be the county, the city of Dayton, and the city of Kettering for their review, and they have 30 days to review the bylaw changes and make any suggestions that they may have, if any at all. That's important for you all to know. So if we hear nothing within 30 days, those new bylaws will be the standard in which we will operate. And the second thing, I would publicly like to express the deepest sympathy on behalf of the board to Frank Eckler, who lost his father a few weeks ago, and you do have our thoughts and prayers. Is there any other comments that we'd like to make? Hearing none, I then just would like to state that there is no need for an executive session that I'm aware of. Our next regular board meeting is August 4th, and the next committee meeting is July 21st. If there's nothing further to come before the board.
I could just mention, I forgot to do this under my report, and I don't want to go back to my office and be chastised by Kathy Garner. She does all the work. August 2nd this year is our annual employee picnic. There's a new twist to it this year. We're combining our retiree luncheon with the employee picnic for a variety of reasons. So it'll be a great mix of the old, the older, and the new. And you're certainly welcome if any board members would like to attend. It's a great event.
Thank you. Thank you. If there's nothing further to come before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.